Hi everybody, just a quick video today about a set of XML files I've just put together. These are hardcore XML settings, XML mods for DayZ on PlayStation, Xbox or PC that you can apply to your Nitrado or any other make of private community server. So you'll in a link in the description down below, you'll find a link to my GitHub and the hardcore DayZ repository, and to get all the files, and there's 4 files in all. Just click on code and download the zip file to your local computer. And these mods, they only change 3 files anyway: events, types, XML, and zombie territories. And then there's the file changelog, which we'll go through now. So you may well have seen the video and the XMLs I did for Zombieland, where I added lots more zombies to the map, and it made the game much more challenging. And recently I've been watching some videos and reading some discussions about what could be or what should be a hardcore DayZ server, a more challenging DayZ. And obviously the answer to that is whatever you want it to be. There's no perfect answer to any of this. But I thought, well, for me, what would I want in a more challenging version of DayZ? And the first thing obviously was more zombies. So I thought, well, wait a minute, we're halfway there with these mods then anyway, because we've got more zombies. However, with the Zombieland XMLs, one of the problems was there was too many zombies, because we had 50% more zombies, but we also had these mini zombie hordes that would spawn around where police cars would spawn, and it was just a little bit too much. So I've taken them out, but I've kept the big zombie military hordes that spawn in the countryside. So the idea is, in the towns and villages there's 50% more zombies, and when you're out in the countryside you will come across fields. This is really in the northwestern part of Chernarus. You will come across fields where zombies are spawning. Lots of zombies, so you have to be very careful when you're doing that. Then I thought, well, what are the other things? Well, DayZ is pretty hard as it is, but I guess what you'd want from what I would want from a hardcore DayZ experience is one where you can't rely on looting for food and drink. So what I've done is I've reduced the number of food and drink items that spawn in the world by 20%, and the 20% less water containers as well. Because we all know that once you kind of get past that first hour and a half, where you've got a few tins of food, you've got a few tins of drink, you've found your first water bottle, and you've got your first knife, you're pretty much good to go. And so by having less food and drink and less water containers, that makes that more challenging and makes it more challenging ongoing. And I also thought, well, one of the early food sources that you use a lot of are chickens. So there's 20% less chicken spawns as well, because they tend to be around the towns and villages, don't they? So I've taken 20% them away. But what I've done is I've added 20% more deer, pigs and goats. So that's to encourage you to go hunting to find the food you need. And then there's more bear spawns, of course. There's going to be more bear spawns and more wolf pack spawns as well. And apart from that, everything else is vanilla. So it's just challenging. So it's just as difficult to find nails and compasses and clothes and all that sort of stuff. Well, good clothes anyway. So the story behind this is it's harder to survive in the towns because there's more zombies. So it's harder to loot in the towns. There's less food and drink in the towns anyway. So you're gonna have to go into the countryside and hunt for deer and goats and sheep and things like that. But you've got to be careful, because if you're out in the countryside, there's a chance you might come across or aggro one of these really big zombie groups. And trust me, these military hordes in the countryside, there could be like 30 zombies in a field, and when they all start running after you, you're going to have to be careful. So it's that kind of thing. And what will probably happen with this, because there's less food and drink, less water containers and more zombies in towns, you're probably going to die in the first hour quite a few times. But what I was hoping for is, once you get through that first hour, it will be more challenging to survive in DayZ, because there's more zombies around, and you'll have to be much more careful than you normally would be, but you will be able to survive. So anyway, so this is my take on a DayZ hardcore experience. Now, in order to install it, it's pretty easy, these ones, because they're just simple XMLs. As I say, download the zip and unpack it in your local computer, and then what you want to do is go to your PC or your PlayStation or your Xbox control panel. And I'm just using, I'll tell you what we'll do, we'll use my PlayStation as an example. So all you want to do is stop the server and then just go to the file browser, and as I say, there's only 3 files we need to change. So DayZ PS missions, you go into here, DayZ offline Chernarus, and then the first file, which is the actually it's not in here, is it? So you go into ENV folder, and this one has got the zombie territory, so you click upload and then upload the zombie territories, and then you go up, then you go into the DB, I guess that's the database folder, and then you'd upload types, and then you'd upload events, and that will go over the top of those and replace them, and then restart your server. Obviously you should have backed up your files first, I should have mentioned that earlier. Restart your server, and then pretty much the events will start firing straight away. The reduction in loot will take a while to happen because stuff will have to despawn, and loot has a lifetime. But what this won't affect is people's bases or their characters or anything like that. So you could actually run this as an event on your server. So you could say, oh, things have become rarer in Chernarus, and there's more zombies, and you could run it for a week, and then you could revert to your old files. So there we go. Hopefully that's useful. Hopefully you'll have a little bit of fun with that. Again, use them as you will, modify them as you will. If you've got any questions or comments, put them in the below the video, and the link to the GitHub repository is in the YouTube description down below. And I'll see you all again soon.